All right, let's try this again with the mic on this time. If you didn't wish you had to sit, or if you wish you didn't have to sit with your tween hour after hour so they would get their schoolwork done, and so they didn't dawdle through it, you're in the right place. I'm going to show you a simple system or a simple framework to think about how to help your tween take responsibility for some of their learning so you can get the things done on your to-do list while they get their schoolwork done. So think about this. What would you do with your time if you didn't have to sit with your tween and work with them one question after another after another? I'm Marina Gabor and founder of the Tween Talk community and the Life Skills Club, which is a fun club for tweens to learn communication, organization, critical thinking skills while making new friends, and a way for moms of tweens to get support, helping their tweens implement those things that they learn. And today I'm going to show you exactly how you can get your tween to take some responsibility for their schoolwork without having to nag them. And then you can get the things done on your to-do list. Now, you might think, this is impossible. How can this happen? But by the end, you'll have thought about 3 critical things that are going to help you start implementing this framework today so you can get your tween working independently. If you're here live, please comment #live. If you're watching the replay, #replay. Thank you for joining me. Let me know in the chat if you could choose one subject for your tween to handle on their own or mostly on their own. Which one would it be? Which one would it be? Think about that because I am going to show you how to get there. I'm going to show you how to get there. So, first things first, we want to set your tween up for success. And that sounds all airy-fairy. Okay, yes, I want to set my tween up for success. Of course, we want to set our kids up for success. But what does that look like? What does that mean? And it means that we are selecting a curriculum that speaks to your tween. It is written to the learner with instructions that are understandable to the learner, or that you can explain in such a way that then they know what to do. Because if they don't understand the instructions, they don't understand what to do, they are not going to be able to do it independently, no matter how much you want them to, or no matter how much they don't want you over their shoulder, they won't be able to do it because they don't understand the instructions. So we need to set them up for success by having curriculum materials or learning materials, whatever it is that they are using for learning, understandable to them. Now, Andrew Pudua from IEW, Institute for Excellence in Writing, brilliant man, and he always said, do easy plus 1. So when you're thinking about what you're asking your tween to do independently, think about, is it easy for them? Because if it's easy for them, they're going to be able to do it and do it independently. They're going to be able to do it well. But then we also have this plus 1, which is a little bit of a stretch. Because if we don't have things that challenge us, think about yourself. Like if you're just doing easy things that don't challenge your brain at all, they're not satisfying. There's no reward. And so we want a little bit of a stretch so that your tween gets that reward and they want to keep going. Even though they will tell you that they hate school, that this is stupid, that I don't want to do this, that why do I have to waste my time on it? You are the parent. You can see the bigger picture. You know the benefit they'll get by knowing or learning, persevering through whatever it is you've asked them to do. So keep that in mind. Just because they say they don't like it, they hate it, they don't want to do it, it's boring, whatever, doesn't mean they shouldn't do it. But We want it to be easy plus one. We want it to be written to them as the learner so that they can move forward and feel good about what they are doing, what they are learning, and it's still stretching them a little bit. So secondly, so now we have made sure that they're set up for success. Secondly, we need to define what done is. What does it look like when they are finished? Very specifically. Not, are you done your math? Because what does that even mean? Of course they're done their math. They did one question. They're done their math. Well, who's to say that that's not done their math? If you haven't clearly outlined and articulated and expressed to them what done means. I remember doing this to my girls. So maybe you can learn from my mistakes. Looking back at things, hindsight is always 20/20, right? And I didn't do this all the time, but sometimes, for example, I was asking them to practice piano. Well, practice piano is very vague. So go spend 30 minutes and practice piano. Okay. So they sit there and I'm going, well, why aren't they actually practicing? Well, I didn't show them what practicing meant. I didn't define it. I didn't outline it. And I had all of this knowledge in my head because I am a pianist and I've been practicing for years and years and years, learning a whole bunch of different things, which my kids did not know. And so when I said practice, I had all of these layers of information that infused the word practice with meaning to me. They did not have those same things rattling around in their brain. They had not learned those things. So when I said practice, it was just like practice. So then I realized, I need to be specific. What does practice mean? Oh, you're going to play this 3 times, and you're going to play this 3 times, and you're going to spend 10 minutes practicing scales this way, or like very clearly defined. And then we had more success. Then we knew what done was. I was happy with done. They were happy with done. And they were less frustrated because they knew what the expectation was. So it might seem like you're like, do I really have to lay it out that clearly? Yes. Yeah. Or sometimes, they would be doing something and then I'd see, they're not really doing it the way that I thought that they should be doing it. So then I would interject other instructions sort of on the fly. Well, then it was like they were trying to hit a moving target. What is done? Well, is done the first thing, or is done now you changed the definition of done and now it's going to take me longer, and that caused some, maybe you know this, caused a bit of tension. So learn from my mistakes, if you will, and just set the intention at the beginning. This is what done means. And even if they say, are you serious? I have to do that much? Yes, this is what done is. But again, going back to that easy plus one, if math is not their strong subject, then asking them to do every single question in a short span of time and get 90% on it is not reasonable for that student. But if you say do every other question and get 65%, what's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with that. That is, you have the benefit when you are homeschooling to accommodate each of your kids to their strengths and their weaknesses and their capabilities. That is the beauty of it. If you have a tween who's excellent at math, they love doing it. They whip through it. Let them do every question. Make done be do every question, get 90%. Great. If that is reasonable, if that is that easy plus one for that child. Okay, so we have set them up for success. We have defined done, which leads to natural consequences. So when we think of consequences, usually we think punishment, but a consequence is just like the result of something. So if they do every other question, they get 65%. There is still time left. Say you started at 1, you're going to have tea time together. Speaking of which, need a drink. You're going to have tea time at 3. And they're diligent. It takes them an hour and they're like, oh, okay, but now I have an hour till tea time. They can do whatever they want within whatever framework boundary of activities that you have laid out for them. But they've earned that. They took the responsibility and now they should get the privilege. But if instead you're like, oh, wow, they have this whole extra hour and I feel like they're behind on their French. They could learn some more French vocabulary. Oh, they've got a recital coming up. Maybe they could practice a little extra piano. Oh, we might be able to get that book read before the homeschool facilitator comes. Maybe they can read an extra 2 chapters. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Because then what motivation do they have for working independently, being diligent in their work? There's no reward. Imagine if you had a job, and maybe you've had a boss like this, who, when you work efficiently, you get the work done, they just keep piling on more and more and more and more work. And you think, well, what's the point of being so efficient? I'm not getting paid more. There's no benefit to me. The boss gets all the benefit. I'm just getting all of this work. You start feeling like a workhorse. That's what happens with your tween. If they do the work, and then you pile on more work, soon they're not going to do the work. They're just going to like lollygag along because there's no reason, no benefit to them, no privilege when they're done. So, restrain yourself. And I say that lovingly. I've been there. I've done it both ways. And let me tell you, when they see that they do the work, and there's a benefit to them, a privilege that they get spending time however they like, they will work better. They will get their work done. So the next time they'll realize, man, if I get my math done even faster, I wonder how I can learn this faster so I can have more time to do what I want to do. That's how you want them thinking. And as long as they're meeting the definition of done, it's good. So you set them up for success, you define done, and then let the natural consequences play out. Now, if on the other hand, they were totally unfocused and they spent 2 hours and they still weren't finished their math, and it's not because they weren't capable of doing it, because you had set that out to begin with. It was easy +1. They were capable of doing it. Well, now it's tea time. And you don't forget about the math. It's like, okay, well, 45 minutes later, we're done tea time. They've had a snack and they're all good and you've had a conversation. Okay, well, it's time to finish up your math because you didn't get it done yet. That's the consequence. And they might tell you how much they don't like you and this isn't fair and all of these things. And lock your heart up. Just be calm, cool, and collected. And just say, well, this is what done is. So as soon as you're done, then you can have your free time. And they'll be angry 99% of the time. And let them be angry about it. They're probably frustrated with themselves. But the next day, Say, set them up for success. This is the definition of done. You work on this. I'm going to go do my thing. They will probably get finished. And when they get done, even with like 15 minutes extra. Say, hey, that's great. You got done. You got 15 minutes to do whatever you want before tea time. Be like, okay, this really works. So I would say when you are starting on this journey to getting your tween to work more independently so you can finish your to-do list, and it's what they need to do. They need to expand their wings. They need to learn how to work independently. It's a skill. So we want to set them up for success, define the definition of done, and then let natural consequences fall as they may. But I highly encourage you to start with something where they are super close to working independently already, so that you can get through this cycle quickly and they can quickly see, oh, I get to do things that I want to do if I get these things done and meet this done criteria. Because once that we want to get them understanding that cycle, and then you can add another thing for them to work on independently and just keep building on that. And over time, you'll see you have more and more time to get your to-do list done. And you'll also get better at defining done. And you'll start having conversations with your tween about, do you think this is reasonable? Let's talk this through. And you have a little bit of this collaborative negotiation to describe and outline what done is. And that's part of this growing process. Super excited. I'm excited about what happens on the other side of that. We worked through a lot of this when my daughters were in their tween years. Now they're in their teens and edging out into late teens, early adults. And this process works. Spending the time to show them how to learn independently here paid huge dividends. And is still paying dividends through the high school and beyond. Because they understand, oh, this is what I need to get done. And there is a natural consequence, positive or negative, depending on how I do the work here. So totally worth it. All right. If you would like some help, or if your tween needs to connect with other kids their age, wants to make friends, and you want them to learn more about organization, communication, critical thinking skills, Life Skills Club is the place they need to be. It is Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, online, virtual. And the first mini course that we're doing starting January 9th is Build Your Best Year, a plan for having fun, leveling up. And we are going to be talking about how to set a goal, something that they want to achieve. And over the course of a couple of weeks, setting that goal, seeing what actions they need to take in order to achieve their goals, to take some ownership over that. And you, as the parent, will be getting weekly email support so that you can help them as they are implementing. So you can encourage and support them as they implement what they have learned. So that's the support I have to offer. It's only $9 a month, cheaper than most, Starbucks coffee. Go to lifeskills.club, register your tween, and get some help with that to get the year started. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully the volume was on for this one, and I will see you next week.